Today I'll be talking about the FUJIFILM XQ1. So backstory, I've been looking for a pocket camera for quite a while. Something that I can fit into my pocket. Because nowadays you have a lot of cameras where it says pocket camera but it's still quite huge. Because in comparison, you got your iPhone, right? A bit smaller. I wouldn't say it's as thin, but you can still put in your pocket without you having a gigantic bulge. So I have a film camera, this Kodak Guitar, and this is a rough gauge if you were to get the Fujifilm X100 for X100V, right? And yeah, something this size is gonna create a huge bulge, a bit bigger, it's a bit wider. You can put in your pocket, but it's still gonna be quite huge. While this one is a bit flat, it's similar to the RX100 by Sony. So yeah. So that was the backstory onto why I'm looking for pocket camera. I just want something to put in my pocket, something I can just take out and just shoot. I could use a smartphone, but I wanted something more dedicated as well. First impressions, photos good, videos not good. The great thing is that you can shoot in RAW and you can edit in post if you want to, but ideally pocket camera should look good straight out of camera. Just the JPEGs and that's it. For the most part, straight out of camera photos are pretty good on this camera. You have 3 profiles. You have, I would say profile, but film simulations. This is the film simulation. Your standard one, Provia, Velvia, and Astria. So I typically use Astria most of the time. So any of the photos that you see is most likely Astria as well. And yeah, I've been pretty pleased with the JPEGs for the most part, although it might be contrasty because the dynamic range is not that great. But yeah, that's why you shoot RAW, so you can uplift the shadows if you want to. Okay, so aside from that, what's available on this camera? It's a normal pocket camera. Why is that? You just take it out and shoot. So, well, if you guys need to know, there's this top part where you have your PASM dials, you have your full auto, and then you have your zoom rocker right here. I actually switch off digital zoom because I do not want it to be too pixelated for whatever reason there is. When you need to, there is a flash. Cool. As for the lens, I have no idea what the zoom range is, but I've been told that it's 18 to 100 apparently. The aperture is f1.8 to 4.9. It's a variable aperture. So yeah, if you're shooting low light, you have to shoot wide. Zooming in will make it look kind of bad or grainy. But so far it has been pretty good. Okay, so for the ports, there's nothing on the left side of the camera, and on the right it's actually a USB port, which is pretty cool. It's a micro USB though, so you have your tripod screw-in thingy here on one side, and it does not obstruct the battery or this magical thing at the bottom called a HDMI port. Usually HDMI ports are always at the side. This is actually quite great, and no one really does this often, which is to have the HDMI port right below. And this is, I believe, is a micro HDMI. It does not obstruct the tripod mount or like at the side for whatever reason. And for the battery life, it lasts up to 10 hours if you're just shooting photos. After it just dies, and because it's a small battery. If you're shooting video, it just dies very fast, like within 15 minutes. So just don't shoot video on this because the quality is not that great. The battery life is not that great. Overall, video not that great. Okay, so this is the audio from this FUJIFILM XQ1 camera, and yeah, I'm shooting indoors because I would not really advise to shoot video on this camera outdoors or anywhere or in general. Yeah. Okay, you know this, we all know EFM is kind of dead, but yeah, whatever. That's another video for another time. Thanks. And that is it. What else to say, man? It's a small compact camera. It looks nice. Yeah, there's nothing much to say. I mean, what is that? There's a small finger grip at the side for your thumb to hold, and that's it. As for the back, there's nothing much. It's your typical stuff. You have your scroll thingy, which for some reason on this XQ1, I've read up that this actually gets a bit funky, so after a while it's just not usable. You have your menu button, you have your play button, you have your record button for video, which you can just totally ignore. Your function button, and then you have your display to choose whatever display. Yep. So in terms of quality, the ISO is good till about 800 or 1006. Shouldn't push anything above that because it tends to get grainy, and yeah, knowing that it's an old camera, you shouldn't push it too hard. Just rely on your own skills. So as a pocket camera, you just want to take it out and shoot, so that means most of the time you'll be shooting in auto, right? So in auto, it is just decent. Sometimes it gets a good shot, sometimes it does not. Because of the dynamic range, it prioritizes the highlights for some reason, and everything else is going to be dark. So if you're shooting the sky will be fine, everything else will be dark. This does not really do well in a very bright daylight situation. Everything will just be contrasty and you'll be full. The menu system, it's pretty old but good. You can actually adjust the dynamic range, prioritizing whatever you want to call it. So I set it all the way up to like 400%. So on the topic of performance, how about autofocus? Autofocus is okay, it's fast, it's quick. The face detection is on, but it works sometimes. Other times it just does its own thing, it focuses on whatever it wants. It's just a pretty good pocket camera that you can just take out, take a photo, and hope for the best. Is it the best camera? Right now, no, that has to go to the ZV-1, unfortunately, Mark II. If you actually do find this second-hand, and if it's below like $200, I think you should get it, because they do not really make compact pocket cameras anymore. I mean, what is that? ZV-1? It's still slightly bigger than this. RX 100 is the same size as the ZV-1. That is still kind of pocketable. I don't know, man, it's something about pocket compact cameras that it just makes it more convenient to shoot compared to your iPhone. I mean, it's pretty easy. Turn on, swipe, and take a photo. But I would kind of want something more dedicated, like a pocket camera, where everything on its own SD card. Anyway, thanks for watching till the end of the video. Hopefully you found this useful, and that's about it. Okay, is the mic on? Is the mic on? Okay, cool. Backlight. And I'm using an ultra wide lens, so my forehead might be pretty big. Now I'm Olivia Wilde. Okay, well, anyway, that's fair, cool. And now it's JJ Abrams. Anyway, today I